Okay.
This call is now being
Global Tel
recorded.
Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Cinco.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey,
Silas.
what's up, James?
Hey, how's it going,
Hey,
Silas?
what's up, man?
How are you doing today?
I'm all right, man. I'm hanging in there, still fighting a good fight. How you doing?
Man, I can't complain. I got up, I got up kind of early today. I've been working for the last few days. So, unfortunately I haven't been able to, jump on one of these lives. But, yeah, I've been working and, I was having a conversation with my wife last night, or was it last night or maybe yesterday in the morning before I went to work. And, she's been taking my daughter, to school. My daughter's in kindergarten. She's been taking her to school, for the last few days. And my daughter asked her, she was like, "Hey, Mama, when is Papa gonna take me to school?" And then, or when I was gonna pick her up. So I told my wife, she's tired of you picking her up now, and she was like, "I think so." So my daughter came away, in the morning because I haven't been able to see her. Normally when I've been coming, when I've been getting off of work and coming home, she's already asleep. And then by the time I leave to work, they're gone already. So I haven't got to see her. So today, while I was sleeping, she came into the room and she was touching my hand. And I got up. My wife was going to take her. And then I was like, if you want, I'll take her. Because I know my daughter's been wanting me to either pick her up or drop her off. And yeah, that's pretty much my day. I just wanted to, share that with you. We just had Starlight come into the chat right now. And she writes, "Good afternoon."
Good afternoon, Starlight. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Starlight, and I want to actually mention something to you. I went to check my mailbox today, and I found the package. They sent it back, and I think they sent it back because I didn't put enough postage, and I think the package was a little bit too thick, and it had a note on it. It had a note on it for me. So I walked into the post office today, and I resent it again. So it said that it wasn't eligible to be mailed out via plane. So it was gonna be ground. So I'm assuming it'll take like 5 days for it to touch over there on that side. And I touched the
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I touched the taffy, and it seems like it's a little bit hard. So because I know it's been sitting there. So hopefully it's still edible by the time it reaches your hand. My apologies on the late shipping and whatnot. Anyhow, so Silas, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, Jesse and David had they had made some taffy a while back, and I had been offering it to some of our listeners that were interested in trying some prison taffy, and Starlight was one of them that did want some, so I went ahead and mailed some of that out her way.
Yeah, they actually, David actually told me about that, and I was tripping out on how they mailed it out, and he was telling me that they mailed it out through the hobby craft, which is something that we have here at our disposal. And yeah, I was just kind of tripping out on their ingenuity in doing that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I had a few people wondering, how they were able to get that. I was like, man, you know what? I don't even know, But all I know, it ended up in my hands, and and I was able to, share that with our audience here. We also have unknown 3K559, and they write, "Good afternoon, Brody."
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They I've had some of David's taffy. I stopped eating it because I'm on the diet, but yeah, I like David's taffy. David makes a pretty good taffy. He has a secret recipe, and he's not giving it up.
Hey, he probably got it locked
So
up
all
like
the viewers, I've tried.
He has it in the vault like the Coke recipe, the
Yeah.
Coca-Cola
Don't
recipe.
don't tell David, but if he gives it up, I'll post it. If I ever get it, I'll post it. I'll give it straight to James and we'll post it. But I don't think that's ever coming. It's like the Colonel's secret recipe, herbs and spices. I don't think anybody's getting that.
Hey, you know what? Talking about chicken, Silas, I don't think I told you, but in El Salvador they have this chicken called, it's called pollo campero. Man, Silas, that's the best fried chicken I've ever tasted. The Colonel's recipe has nothing on that fried chicken, man. In the airport before we flew back home, they got a pollo campero there, and normally what I'll do is I'll buy a box full of chicken. So I stopped really quick, picked up 25 pieces, and I think by the time we made it home, we had about 14 pieces left. We had devoured half of the stock before we got to the U.S.
Man. Yeah, I was tripping up when you were in Prague, like when you went into the KFC, just looking at the menu, how futuristic everything was. Like you went in there and everything was on the display, and like how you order right there, and I was like, what is this? This is like, man, it was a trip, man. Like everything's like just straight futuristic out there, man. Like it's like jumping into like like George Orwell. Well, not George Orwell. I guess that's a little dark. On the KFCs in 1984. In the book 1984. but yeah, it just tripped me out, man. Just looking at how how people interact out there, and how also like the stores, like the self checkouts and all of that stuff. Like I talk to people, and it's kind of it's crazy, man.
Yeah, and it's a lot. It's like that in a lot of places. Yeah, I remember showing you that in Prague when we did walk in, where they had the kiosk, and where you could just like select your items, your food, you pay there, and then you just take up your receipt, or they'll call you. And a lot of places are like that. I could recall, KFC was one of them. McDonald's is also like that, and in El Salvador, it's not like that yet. The only place that I did notice that was like that was at McDonald's. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same. When you go to the checkout, you're still dealing with a human right there. I'm assuming they don't trust people to check themselves out correctly, so you still have to deal with a human. When buying groceries and those type of things at the supermarket.
Right. Yeah, like that is man, it's definitely a change to somebody like me, man, who's been in here for so long, just to see stuff like that and hear about it. And man, to be honest, it makes me more excited about coming home and just acclimating to all of that, to all of the technology out there, and all of the changes, man. I mean, we've gone from, like, since I've been in here, I mean, somewhere between the Flintstones and the Jetsons.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure if you're aware, but now, like most sinks, when you're out in public, they're you activate them by like waving your hand. They'll have a sensor on them, and if you don't do that, then your water's not gonna turn on. There's not like a button anymore where you could press it, and not everywhere is like that, but a lot of places have been converted to I guess to maybe stop wasting of water. So you wave your hand and it'll stay on maybe like 10 seconds, and then after that it'll just automatically cut off.
Right. That's what. And we have I think we have in medical here we have like a like instead of, we had a paper towel dispenser there before, but they put in an air dryer, blow dryer, and you just wave your hand under there and it starts and dries your hands. So I've seen a version of that, and I think I've seen something like, I've definitely seen those things. I've definitely seen those things like that before.
Yeah. They're convenient when they work, but when they don't work, man, waving your hand like a crazy person to try to get some water or sometimes the soap, because the soap dispensers also be rigged like that, like you just mentioned on the towel dispensers, kind of similar kind of they operate similarly.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's man. I can't wait to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be new for probably like a month, and then after that, I'll be over it.
You know what? Even at the, talking about, like, automation and whatnot, like when you go through like the airport now, like before you jump on an international flight, sometimes like certain airlines, they're linked up to like the CBP, which would be, the Department of Homeland Security and Immigration, or they deal with those type of things, and they'll scan your face before boarding onto the flight, where you don't even have to show them your passport anymore. So that's how advanced things are, with facial recognition and automation.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Man,
Normally, I'll opt out. Like when we're going through like the TSA checkpoints, I'll tell them that I want to opt out, and they look at me like like, really? Like, no, everybody wants to have their face scanned. To me, it's like, why am I gonna show you my ID and then have my face scanned? It's like, if you're gonna scan my face, you should already have my information on there. So
right.
it doesn't make any sense. So most of the time I'll opt out, especially when coming back into the U.S. I'll opt out, to have my face scanned. I was telling the officer when we flew back into Atlanta, and I was like, hey, how's it going? We're opting out, to have our face scanned, and he's so used to just going through the motions and nobody, challenging it, that he started taking my picture, and I put my passport in front of my face so he couldn't take a picture of me. And I told him, I was like, I don't want to be, I don't want my face, scanned. And then he made like a comment, like, if, because it took a little bit longer. So he made like a comment, like saying, like, if I would have just agreed to the scan, then we probably would have been gone already. But I'm like, shit, I got like a 3 hour layover. So I don't care, like a minute or two or more of an inconvenience. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's definitely it's crazy, man. I can't. It's a good problem to have. I will say that. I can't wait
Yeah.
until I'm out there experiencing that, man. Definitely.
You know what, Silas, and for I'm gonna bring us on to today's topic, which is, can you raise your children from prison? But I think it'll be good, like, because while raising your children in prison, obviously you have to have a a
This
relation.
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
You have to have relationships on the outside, whether it's your parent, the mother of your children, or the dad of your children if you're a woman that's incarcerated. So I think, like, I want to broaden the topic, to also include, like, relationships and other things that happen, with those relationships while trying to raise your kids. I just don't want to just lock it in into just specifically raising your children from prison.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we can definitely. I mean, relationships are like, I mean, I think that's the for somebody in here, speaking from my perspective, relationships are the most integral part of somebody's existence in here. Their ability to thrive in here and actually be hopeful about getting back into society. So I mean, I definitely believe that relationships are important. I mean, whether they be familial relationships or whether they're familial relationships or just friends.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And I think thinking about relationships, right? It kind of brings me to like a conversation that I was having,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was discussing channels with somebody, and she had told me about a channel where I guess there's this person on there. he's formerly incarcerated, and he's out now. And I guess his whole stick is kind of warning women off of interacting with men in prison and telling them, not to associate with, or have relationships with men who are in prison, and kind of making them feel like, that they're dumb for being in relationships with people in prison, because men in prison constantly.
It's gonna cut off, Silas.
Lie to them. Okay,
Call
I'll
back.
give you a call back.
Okay, for sure. All right. So if this is your first time here, unfortunately, these calls only last for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, these calls are automatically cut off. So we're currently on the phone with Silas Johnson, and he's currently in the state of California in Centinela State Prison, and he should be calling us back in the next moment or two, and then we'll go ahead and go ahead and continue with today's topic, which would be obviously, can you raise your children from prison? And then also relationships. And there he is, Silas is calling back, and we're going to go ahead and plug him in, and we'll be good to go.
This call is now being
Global Tel Link,
recorded.
You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so basically, in my opinion, the guy's a dirty Mac. He's just, trying to smut up everybody that's incarcerated, and he's using his own experience, like telling his viewers that, hey, I was in prison and I did it, and I used women, so this is why I'm telling you, if you're talking to somebody in prison, your man is cheating on you, this, just the whole nine. And I was talking to somebody about that, and just kind of pointing out that the fallacies in his logic and what he was saying, because this person is on there and he's using his own personal experience, which is anecdotal evidence to kind of, serve as some kind of public service announcement, if you will, for women in society, as far as having relationships with men who are incarcerated. And it just struck me as kind of funny because, first of all, the guy's, obviously this person has an agenda. He's trying to get, views. He's trying to get, all of that stuff, And then, he's no doubt he's doing what dirty Macs do, right? After he smuts guys up in prison, he's the shoulder to cry on, so he can take advantage of these women who are leaving these guys who are in prison because of whatever he's telling them, right? And it's just, it's just kind of crazy. And we talked about, about how people who are malcontent, they're like a cancer. They'll just spread it around, So I was telling the individual I was talking to that he neglects to give the other side of it, right? And the other half is, and let me just say this, right? Let me preface what I'm about to say by saying this. There are men in here who play games with women, who talk to multiple women, who use people, and the same usury that occurs in society occurs in here, So that's with that being said, that doesn't represent every man or woman who's incarcerated and justice impacted. For me to tell you as a black man, because I have an experience as a black man, to tell you that, well, all black people do this or all black people do that, that would be insane for me to say that, because I'm just one black man, and my experience as a black person is singular. It's just my experience. So I can't tell you, I know because I'm black, so all black people do this. Like, that's insane, So, and I was just explaining, just trying to break down things, to let this person know that, you got to kind of consider the source, when you're taking information from somebody, and for me, being a critical thinker, which is the beautiful thing about being a college student, you know what I mean? Like, you analyze everything. And, when somebody gives me information, I don't accept it at face value. I put it to the test, and it was just kind of funny just seeing how just the spread of information and misinformation is so rampant. But I'm sure the ladies that are listening to this, some of them who have probably been taken advantage of, so now it's like an echo chamber, basically, of confirmation bias, but I'm sure these women rarely look at the other side, because there's an experience that men have and women have who were in prison, of spouses that go out and cheat, spouses that lie, spouses that take advantage of individuals in here. I mean, when I was on the main line for 20 years, and when I was over there, I was hustling, and I was sending money back into society. I know there are a ton of men in here who send money into society from here, and I've heard and seen examples of women, spouses even running off with money that that they partner has stacked up, and and cheating, and just the whole nine. So I think when you talk about stuff like that, it's good to, of course, the conversation is always good to be had, but I think an account should be had for both sides of the story as opposed to just one singular perspective,
Man, you know what, Silas? I wish I would have had some experience with that. When I was one of the last times I was incarcerated. But man, back in those days, it was a prehistoric days. It was all about writing letters. The only thing that I do know about that it's from what I've seen on TV and whatnot. I know there's a lot of shows that on TV that revolve around incarcerated individuals and building relationships and whatnot. And I don't know if they're over dramatic, or they what word am I looking for here?
Over dramatizing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dramatizing.
Yeah, a lot of or yeah. When it comes to those things, I'm not sure if everybody that comes on these shows does that, or they make it seem like that. But it seems like the incarcerated individual is always asking the person that's in the free world for like either money, packages, or whatever, and then when they come home they like bust a Houdini. And me and my wife will have conversations about that after
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
After the show's over. And then I'll tell her, nah, you know what? I think they're exaggerating. I really don't think, I'm pretty sure those things happen, but I think they're targeting a certain audience, if you will. And because drama sells, when it comes to those things. And I think, like, how you mentioned earlier on, that somebody has a channel and and they're speaking about those things. But I think it's just like anybody that brings content on. They want people to follow them. They want likes. They want to be they want those videos to be shared and whatnot. So I think he's kind of doing the same thing that they do on TV, where they make it more dramatic than what it actually is. Obviously these things are happening. Because I'll jump on like Reddit and I'll read some of the like I'll jump on like prison wives. There's a topic on there it's called prison wives, and you'll see like a lot of stories and it's and it seems like every other topic they're talking about like am I being scammed, and then there's just certain state I think I want to say is Iowa that it's known for that. If I'm speaking about the wrong state, feel free to correct me if anybody's listening there. But I think Iowa is known for guys doing that, and I think they have like a script where they involve their sisters, and I think the whole family becomes part of it. It's in Iowa, I want to say.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah. hearing you talking about that, I was like, I just remembered about that thread that I was reading on Reddit, and then a lot of women were talking about it. They were like, "Hey, is his sister name blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "What the what? Like what's going on here?" I was like, "Man, this is And I thought about it, but then I forgot about it. This was sometime last week. But you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to find that trend on Reddit, and I'll send it on over to you, so you could kind of like get a clear picture as far as to what I read on there.
Yeah, I'm. You got it in that. I'm totally interested in checking that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're right. I mean, sex sells, drama sells. So, like, we'll take where I'm at as an example, right? Like, I've been here on Delta Yard in November it'll be 4 years, which is crazy. I can't believe I've been here this long. And after 20 years on the line, and then coming over here in 2020. Like, I've been here almost 4 years, and no one has been stabbed in all that time, which is a beautiful thing. But I haven't experienced that anyplace else while I was on the line. I haven't experienced that. I mean, there's always something happening. Like, I mean, right next door we have 270 level 4, where something is always happening, where violence is always happening, where, a couple people have lost their lives this year, over there. And so, and if me being a lifer who is geared on going home and earning my parole and furthering my education, completing my education and continuing my rehabilitation and all of those things, right? If I was gonna, this is the place for me. But if I was someone who wanted to sell dope, if I was someone who wanted to gangbang, if I was someone who wanted to commit violence, then CR would be for me. So that said, in the same vein, if I was a producer of a show, right, obviously I wouldn't come unless I was doing like a documentary on education in prisons or, higher education in prison or rehabilitation in prison, I would come to this show. But if I wanted just something that, that was clickbait or to where I could get viewers and show people, the stereotypical, environment of prison and, what seems to be selling out there, then I wouldn't film over here on this yard because this wouldn't, this would be boring. No one would watch.
Yeah.
I'd go to C yard or I'd go to another violent yard in another prison. I'd go to a level 4, 180, Kern Valley or Salinas, and I just roll the cameras because I know what was going to happen, and I know that I would get viewership from it, but it's calculated, I think people need to understand that, like shows like Love After Lockup or any of those other shows, National Geographic, like those shows, they're calculated, they know what they're doing. They're framing this for the public. They're framing it, they're setting, they're not, I won't say they're setting it up, like reality TV, but they know where, I can do statistics and, and check, okay, what's the most violent yard in California, and okay, let's go there, let's film there. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
Where's the yard where they're graduating the most people with associate's degrees and bachelor's degrees? Okay, let's go there and showcase the great job that CDCR is doing, educating offenders. It's just, it's intentional, so what you're seeing, I'm not saying it's not real, but what you're seeing is being manipulated. They're framing, in journalism they call it framing, so they're framing what they're showing you.
Yeah. You know what? And right now, how you're talking about them, choosing certain places, to focus on those areas or those places because they'll draw people in. I'm not sure. I think I mentioned it to you when we're flying to El Salvador. They have monitors on the headrest of the seats on the plane, and you could watch movies and whatnot. And like my wife, she was like, hey, she was like, I just seen your CDCR jacket on one of these documentaries right here. And I was like, what, really? She was like, yeah, they have a documentary. Have you seen it already? And I was like, nah. And I was like, what is it called? And she was like, it's called 26.2 to Life. and I was like, here, let me check it out. Let me check out, what it's about. And you know what? I want to say San Quentin. So in San Quentin, they have a group of runners that come in from the outside, and they've been training
Right.
with the individuals that are interested in running, and then so they've been I think it was like, so I think it's 26.2 to life. So 26, I think they run 26 miles, 26 miles point two. They like, I guess you have to run in order for you to be able to qualify for races outside. I guess like to qualify for like the Boston Marathon and things of that nature.
Right.
And
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have 60 seconds remaining.
Man, we got hit with a double whammy right there, Silas. So the reason I bring that up is because something like that, it doesn't, it has nothing to do, it has to do with prison, but it doesn't have to do with the negative aspect of prison, if you will.
Right.
And if you want, I know it's about to cut off. If you want to go ahead and call back, and then we'll go ahead and continue, because I'm not exactly sure where I'm trying to go with this thought. So I need a few moments to gather my thoughts during this commercial break, if you will.
All right.
All right, Silas. Bueno. I got my boys in there. My homie from the calles. What up? How's it going? Right now we're live with Silas Johnson. He should be calling us back in the next few moments or so. These phone calls only last 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes they're automatically cut off. So once he calls back, then we'll go ahead and continue. And there it is. The phone's ringing. The prison phone is ringing. All right.
This call is now being recorded.
This is Global Tel Link. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
5.
Thank you for
Cinco.
using Global Tel Link.
Anyhow, so the reason I brought up this documentary was because it has to do with prison, but it's this different aspect of prison. You got some people on there, and they're changing their life, and ultimately the ultimate goal is to be able to come home. So so I'm trying to compare the two. So on one hand, you got all this prison drama that's going on, and then on the other hand, you have a positive experience, doing something positive with your time, running, jogging, and then ultimately coming home. So one thing is more popular than the other. In my eyes, more people are gonna go towards the drama, opposed to looking at some inmates running around, doing track and whatnot, right?
Well, yeah, and there's a reason for that, because it's always easier to go down than up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just is, and it's easier to be negative than to be positive, So it appeals to the pessimism and to a degree the nihilism in everybody, So people. I mean, it's one of the reasons why in the news, right, the local news. I mean, they lead with like 10 people were killed today and so, like they lead with all of that stuff, and then like after all of this, the gore, and they may throw in a little politics, weather sports, and then at the end they may have like a nice little story about a fireman who saved the kitten or something, you know what I mean? Just for just to add a little levity, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But they and it's crazy because my journalism professor,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
he gave us the reason why, and the answer is pretty interesting. Every human being has an intrinsic aversion to death and to being harmed, right? Like that's something that's just ingrained in us, in our instinct, in our biology, right? And so when we see, a car crash that happened on I-95, it serves as, it's kind of like, it makes us feel better about ourselves because it wasn't us, and it gives us a sense of safety because now we can prepare for the potential danger and avoid it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like our aversion to death and to tragedy that we're kind of attracted to, and the more that we're plied with it, there's become this fascination. I mean, you talk about, we already touched on Love After Lockup, and all of these shows they're
Mm-hmm.
talking about, institution life, and now they have, in post-release, but now, you have this on the other side. You have this obsession with true crime, whether it be Court TV, 48 Hours, Mystery, or Dateline, or whatever. So there's this. I think that plays into it. All of that, aversion, to tragedy. I think that plays into it, and in the fascination, the kind of macabre fascination that we have with all of this stuff because of our fear of mortality. I think it kind of plays into that. So, when you kind of cater to someone's insecurities or their anger or their lust, or you're gonna obviously you're gonna get viewership, or you're gonna get people to to pay you money. The other day I saw this. There's like this choking mechanism, right? It's kind of like the suction thing to where somebody's choking. It's this invention.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
You can put it over somebody's mouth and pull it up, and it'll suck whatever out of their throat to stop them from choking, right?
We got one, Silas.
Like, exactly. Now, I'm being serious.
No, I know you are.
Like when you show like this is how you cannot die.
Uh-huh.
Life alert. You if you have this, you won't die. Like you'll be safer from harm, and like that you're gonna make money off of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people are gonna see that and be like, okay, we can be safe. If we get this, then we can. The chances of someone choking are kind of minuscule. But if we have it, we can stop tragedy from happening. I won't die this way. At least I won't die that way. You know?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I was laughing because we got one of those. My wife bought one, and she's showing it to me, and I was like, how the hell do we use that contraption? She's like, I don't know. Go watch a YouTube video and figure it out. And whenever we need to, I'll have you use it. Like, wait, what? Like, I never signed up for this. Like, you didn't even consult me with this. I would have told you not to buy it. I'll just do the Heimlich, and hopefully, I'm able to dislodge the stuck food in their throat. But yeah, that's why I was laughing. I was like, oh man, they got us, Silas. You were over here in fear because we're thinking we're gonna choke on food, and my wife, she got it. So we got it up there on top of the refrigerator, and hopefully we could find it if we ever need it.
Yeah, it's the brilliance of marketing, right? It's just the brilliance of marketing. I have an undergraduate degree in psychology, so like after and now my bachelor's degree is going to be in communications, art, graphic design, and journalism. So to do the undergraduate part and to kind of learn about the psychology of human beings and to see how marketers communicate their messages and sort of manipulate the public on a mass scale, whether it be from politicians or, producers from TV shows, and just try and see and to see how people are galvanized to try and to do things, to go out and buy things, to purchase, to listen to programs, to donate money to places, and you know what I mean? And I knew it, like when I was younger, when I used to see the Feed the Children commercials, and they go into Africa and they show, the dilapidated people with, with flies around their heads and starving and all of that, the ribs showing, and I knew I knew what they were doing, but to kind of have to be able to break it down and to really see the manipulation that's being done is really cool, man. Because I feel like, once you become a critical thinker, you analyze everything. You don't accept anything at face value. So, which was kind of why I was going just analyzing this guy's channel, and the information that he was putting out there, and kind of, trying to tell tell people to, kind of consider the source and examine the message, as opposed to just jumping on the bandwagon and grabbing your pitchfork and taking up somebody else's bogus cause.
Yeah, you know what, Silas? So, and right now you said a word, I think a key word, manipulation. Do you think when it comes to manipulation, do you think when somebody gets involved with somebody that's either incarcerated or somebody that's incarcerated, they get involved with somebody that's in the free world? How big of a part do you think manipulation plays into a lot of these relationships?
I think it can play a large part, but I think it can play a large part, right? I mean, you have people that are manipulative, and and on both sides, like I said, whether it's someone in society or it's someone in here. I think it's important for a woman or a man in society who's dealing with somebody who's justice impacted or serving a sentence to know that when you enter into a relationship with someone who is incarcerated, you are inheriting a dependent. Like, that's just that's just the fact. That's just a fact, Like, I think a lot of women, they have, well, I won't even say a lot of women. I'll say a lot of people, men or women, who enter into relationships with a man or a woman who's incarcerated. They kind of come into these relationships like from an unrealistic expectation, or kind of like a fantasy, or even a fetish, because I've seen, I've had experiences with, in myself, my own personal life, with women who fetishize people who are incarcerated. And I mean, I've had someone tell me, I like black men that are in prison. What does that even mean? You like black men who are in prison? Like, not I like black men, but I like black men who are locked up. Like, that is bizarre to me. Like, I don't even know where to go with that. But so you have people who have these, they're starting out from these points of desire or want or need or expectation, and sometimes they're unrealistic. And so when you come from that standpoint, and you enter into a relationship with somebody who's incarcerated, there's a need being met by someone in society. I think the mistake is to think that if someone is engaged with a relationship with me because I am incarcerated, they're not receiving anything. That's false. There's an emotional need being met, 9 times out of 10. There's a sense of companionship that's being met, whether you're on the phone, whether you're visiting, whether you're getting family visits, overnight visits. There's an intellectual need that's being met if you're talking to someone who's at least moderately intelligent. So there are different factors at play. So I think that's where there's a misconception that somehow people who are incarcerated are just vampires, draining the life out of a male or a female in society, and they're not getting anything from it, and they're being manipulated and used. I think there's a reciprocity. There's a need being met on both sides. Now, is it always fair? Is it always equitable? No, obviously not, because if it was, then somebody wouldn't be getting used, in a lot of the instances, So, but I think there is a fair degree of, there's a fair amount of manipulation that goes on, whether it's someone in here that is manipulating someone either, by, playing around and talking to different women, associating with different women or men, hey, whatever their flavor.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
or it being a woman in society who's dealing with somebody in here and supposed to be in a monogamous relationship in here, and she has, a partner or a couple partners that she's dealing with out in society, or she's going to other prisons visiting somebody else that's locked up. There's a degree of manipulation that goes on, but I think it's important to contextualize that it's the geographical aspects are different, but it really fundamentally is no different than in society, to where if you're working and you're going home and going to work every day, and you meet somebody and you start seeing her, and you're given this impression that she's the only person you're seeing, but you're dating two other women on the side. It's the same principle. You know what I mean? It's just the distance is different.
Yeah. You know what? And I agree with you that when a man or woman, if they are reaching out to somebody that's incarcerated, and that person that's incarcerated is, obviously, whether they, they're getting something out of it. They're not coming up empty-handed, because some people just want to have conversations, or some people, they just want to go visit somebody, and for whatever reason, they're targeting, that specific, population.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Man, we're always, these 15 minutes be flying by quicker than quick, Silas.
Yeah.
But yeah, like earlier, and I said, manipulation. And I think a lot of the times when people get involved in these relationships, you don't even have to manipulate them. Some people are just willing to, put money on your books, or go visit you and things of that nature. And then I think when things go sour, or they're not getting exactly what what they want. I don't know if they're looking for marriage or a girlfriend. Then they start bad mouthing the person that's incarcerated, because they didn't get what they wanted at the end of the day. But I mean, you have to feel people out. You can't just rush into these things. You can't have one conversation with somebody and dedicate your whole life, right?
Right. And you touched on.
All right. So these calls only last 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, they're automatically cut off, and then Silas will give me a call back. So right now we're just waiting for him to call back, and once he does, then we'll go ahead and continue. We also have if you're on the TikTok side, we also have a YouTube channel, and on that YouTube channel we have a playlist of different individuals that have come on in the past, that have shared their stories or journeys. And I'm plugging him back in.
This call is now being recorded.
You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Cinco.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. I was saying, you touched on an interesting point, like, and I think that's really important, man. Like that, you pointed out that, like, sometimes people they kind of communicate an emotional reaction because they didn't get the result that they wanted. I'll use a personal example. My wife and I separated, and we're going through a divorce. And it would be easy for me to say that, oh, she came into my life and she played games with me, she's this, she's that, and all women do in society is this and that, and I'm done with relationships, period, and this and that, and just be bitter. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes things don't work out, and that's just the bottom line. Sometimes things don't work out, and I still love my wife, and she's a beautiful person. She's independent. She's whip smart. You know, she has a great heart. You know, and I want her to achieve all of her dreams and fulfill her, you know, all of her hopes and for happiness, and you know, and so I think me not but both things can be true. I mean obviously getting a divorce is devastating, you know, and you know, so both things can be true at the same time, you know, and because I didn't get the result that I wanted, which is obviously to stay married to my wife for the rest of my life, you know, it doesn't mean that she's a bad person, she manipulated me, she did this, she lied, this, that, and the third. I mean, because none of those things took place, you know. So I think that is important too. Like, you know, and obviously it's painful, but at the same time, I can contextualize and compartmentalize my own feelings and separate them from the facts of actually what happened and communicate to you honestly, as opposed to just being emotional and telling you something that's not true based upon the way I feel, you know?
Yeah, you know what? And hearing you speak, man, it brings me back to you know, our one of our first, you know, conversations when we did your original interview, and man, I definitely gotta you know, salute, you know, your grandpa and your dad, because man, you know, they were a huge they impacted you with your speech, and man, and I know you're always getting complimented on the way you speak, man, but you know, I gotta definitely, you know, recognize that, and I wish that someday, you know, I'm able to, you know, form my thoughts and put stuff out like the way you do, Silas. You know, my hats off to you, your grandpa, and your dad, you know, for the way that you're able to, you know, verbalize and the verbiage that you're able to use when you speak.
I appreciate you, man.
Hey, you know, and then right now
I appreciate you.
my wife's gonna come tell me, she's like, man, she's gonna be like, you're like the news, like you know, you're talking about one thing, and then you jump over to the weather. I'm like, I don't know, I can't help it. Sometimes my thoughts are all over the place. So if anybody's wondering, you know, what my thought process, I'm a scattered brain. You know, I have ADHD, and you know, it's hard to keep me on track on one thing. So if you're wondering what's happening with me, that's what it is right there.
Man, you got a journalist brain, man. You got a journalist brain, definitely. You were made for this, man.
I don't know, Silas, but hey, I'll
Sure.
keep on trying. You know, like that's something that I'm not gonna stop. You know, like you know, I've been doing this. We're about to be hitting a year so far since we started doing this. You know, since we started going down this rabbit hole. And you know, I enjoy, you know, sitting down and, and talking with you guys, and picking your brains and having you guys, you know, share your journeys with me, because you know, everybody's story is different. You know, I've had, you know, people from all different, walks of life, and whatnot. Like, you know, when you tell me when you're from Pacoima, and I'm like, what? Like, and this is gonna sound retarded, but I'm like, I didn't even know, like, people, like, you know, black people lived in Pacoima. You know, I'm thinking, you know, I'm from LA, you know, so there's certain pockets of areas. I mean, I'm not sure how it is now. You know, I know it's changed. The demographics in LA have changed, you know, over the last 10 years and whatnot. But,
Right.
you know, certain people live in certain areas, you know. So, you know, speaking to you, it definitely, you know, it opened up my eyes to, you know, you living in Pacoima, and I was like, damn, that's a trip, you know, because I did, you know, I spent a lot of time, you know, in the Valley area, like San Fernando, Silmar area and whatnot, and you know, starting this channel up is brought me into contact with people like yourself that I normally wouldn't have access to.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So, yeah, I just wanted to, you know, throw that out there, Silas.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Black people are everywhere, man. Black people are everywhere.
You
Don't be alarmed. We're everywhere.
You know, because you think about the Valley. I mean, if you're not from the Valley, like I said, I mean, obviously, if I lived in the Valley, then you know, I would have, you know, I wouldn't have been as shocked as I was. But But I don't even know what I was to say, but yeah, Silas. I just want to say, hey, I'm glad you came on, and I'm not sure like the conversation, what it was in the background when they approached you and whatnot, but I definitely it was Richard was the one that brought you on, right?
No, Jesse.
Jesse brought you on.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Jesse.
That was
Yeah,
Jesse. Oh,
Jesse
okay.
actually, Jesse actually hit me up and told me about it, and he told me that he had told you about me, and I was like, okay, all right, cool, and yeah. So I talked to him. I think I saw him again on the yard, and we had another conversation, and
Yeah.
he was telling me about like the mission statement and everything, and I was like, okay, yeah, cool, I'm with it,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I gave you a call, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Yeah, because it all kind of happened kind of quickly. Richard came on, and then I think I want to say I'm not sure it was Jesse that came on second or Ricky. I know I was talking to all three of you like pretty much like at the same time. So yeah, it all kind of it all kind of happened. Kind of quick. It went from one day to the next, and it just seemed like I was talking to a lot of people. Getting their journeys and whatnot, and here we are almost a year later, and soon we're gonna be doing our second release from Centinela. I'm definitely excited, and what the future holds. With what we're doing right here.
Yeah, man, absolutely, man. It's been a journey, man. It's been a journey, and a lot of things have changed, man. For me, professionally, personally, and man, I'm looking forward to the future, man, and I'm definitely looking forward to continuing this journey with you, man, and keeping you posted of my progress, and not only up until release, but post release, and we've had a lot of conversations about about the journey, outside
Yeah.
of here, and I think the viewers are going to be in for like a kind of a surprise, man, to see how we ratchet things up, man, after in reentry, and kind of bringing them along with us for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna, have to get a phone in your hands like the moment you walk out, and then so you could start, vlogging, capturing those moments, and we could go ahead and post them up. So, yeah, for you, by the time you come out, we'll have it. We should have it down to a T, and be able to capture that moment, that everybody could see, what you're going through, your daily struggles, and reintegrating back into society. When you parole, are you gonna parole? Are you gonna be paroling? You're gonna parole to LA County, right?
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. I mean, unless BPH sends me someplace else, but I mean, that's where my support is. So, my intention is definitely to support. I mean, to parole there. That's what my support system is, and after I graduate, I'm planning on enrolling into UCLA through underground scholars. So, I mean, my college is going to be in LA. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely geared towards paroling to LA County.
You know what? Last time we had a conversation about reentry, and I just thought about something right now, asking you where you were gonna parole to. It seems, I mean, and I'm from the, this
This
observation
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
that I'm gonna speak from, it's from my point of view. Obviously, I've never been to prison, and I've never been on parole, but it seems like LA County or LA has a lot of organizations that are geared towards reentry, and for somebody that's going to be paroling to LA, it seems like they're that population that paroles there seems to be getting the most help, whether it's employment, assistance, assistance with housing, employment, monetary, financial help, clothing and whatnot. When you guys have conversations about like what counties are you going to be paroling to, what's the thought, back there as far as, where people want to parole to if they had a choice to parole to or an area to parole to?
I think people generally want to parole to their, I've seen some people who would like to parole out of state. I've seen, but I think the general consensus is people paroling back to their commitment offense county. And when you, obviously I'm from LA County and Los Angeles County, and from what I've seen, has the most robust amount of resources, reentry resources, whether we're talking about, Project Rebound, being able to go to school for your AA or bachelor's degree. Before I started the bachelor's degree program here, my intention was to enroll into Cal State Northridge in the San Fernando Valley in Northridge. And now that I'll receive my bachelor's degree, I'll have an opportunity to either, matriculate into Cal State Northridge, or what would be easier is to go through the underground scholars program for the master's degree program at UCLA. So now that's my plan there. So whether we're talking about that, education, transitional housing, employment opportunities through parole, the Department of Rehabilitation, or even, the educational, resources that you acquire in here, I've accumulated a lot of networking opportunities, so I could have employment opportunities just based on the people that I've met, as far as my educational journey in here. So, so that. Got you. Yeah, one of the COs walked by just now.
Sounded like a cop.
Yeah, so. Yeah. Yeah, so just like with, whatever your need is, I would say that Los Angeles County has the best resources for reentry for somebody coming back into society. I'm pretty fortunate to be from LA County.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I know. I've had other people mention to me they wanted to parole to LA County, but the Board of Parole or the BPH didn't, or whoever decides where they're going to parole to didn't want them to parole there because they didn't have any family ties. They normally want you to parole either where you have family ties or where you committed your offense at in the county that you committed your offense at.
Right. And so, like I said, all of my familial resources are in LA County. So, for me, like that, it just makes sense, to have support there. So for me, it'd be the easiest thing as far as family and resources, educational or, parole resources, from the state. It's just it.
All right, so the call was automatically cut off, so he should be calling it back in the next moment or two. And happy go lucky. Have you been to prison before? I don't think you ever mentioned that, but I know you mentioned your brother. What? Really? How much time did you do? If you don't mind sharing. All right, and Silas is calling back. 8 years, Gene
This is
Gators.
Global Telling.
This call
You have
is
a
now being
prepaid call
recorded.
from
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now in the chat we have on the TikTok side we have one of our viewers here that goes by Happy Go Lucky, and
Okay.
she was writing some comments on here that Santa Ana or Orange County they don't offer that much, and then I asked her, I was like, have you been to prison before? And she wrote that she did. I was like, wow. And I asked her how many years she had done it. She did 8 years. And I was like,
Oh,
wow,
wow.
man, that's a little stretch right there. But
Yeah, I know that. That. I know that is UC Irvine.
Orange County?
Orange County.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah, yep.
Okay, so I know that they actually have underground scholars there. They have underground scholars there at UC Irvine, and that's where you can go and enroll in school for your bachelor's degree your master's degree program actually. Or is it? Yeah, your bachelor's or your master's degree program. So I know as far as education,
Mm-hmm.
Orange County has a couple of things available there, but I'm pretty sure if she has the lived experience, so I'll defer to her expertise. And yeah, I would venture to say that Orange County doesn't have as many reentry resources as LA.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's right next door.
And she also writes, she wrote that she had 2 CDCR numbers and was on parole for 15 years. Man, I thought me on probation was long for 3 years, but 15? Ooh. Damn, they got you. They got you.
15.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Wow. So did she commit an offense, get incarcerated for a stretch, got out and was on parole and caught a new beef and reoffended and then went back and then was that the case?
You know what? You know what, Sal? I think we're gonna have to bring her on. Hey, would you be interested in calling in? And she said she ran most of it. She was an abscounder.
Oh wow, we got a runner. We got a runner.
Let me see.
They happy go lucky. Don't feel bad. Like before I caught this offense, I absconded from juvenile probation from 1995 from September 1995 until February 2001. So don't feel bad.
Yeah. All right. She put, I don't. You don't want to call in, or you do want to call in, because I see you put yes, but I don't. I'm not sure. I'm like super confused. If you could clarify on that. But yeah. So man.
How long, if you don't mind me asking, Happy Go Lucky, how long have you been out now? And can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now?
All right, so we'll wait for her. We'll wait for her response right now. 5 years.
Okay, wow, 5 years. That's cool, man. That's beautiful. Congratulations.
All right, man. You know that, and I will call. What's the number? Hold on. Let me grab the phone. I'll tell you right now what's the number. Silas, if you could take over for a moment or two, so I could I'll get the phone ready right now.
Okay, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, Happy Go Lucky. So yeah, I've been down for 26 and a half years. I was arrested February 24, 2001, and I'm serving a 24 to life sentence for second-degree murder and first-degree robbery. And I just went to BPH in December and got denied for 3 years. And I'll have my review in November to see if I'll be going back early. And if I do get granted an administrative review, I'll be going back like approximately May of next year and have another opportunity to earn my release then. So Yeah, so I'm looking to get where you're at right now, definitely. And congratulations too on being out there and doing your thing out there. So if you like what exactly are you doing out there as far as employment? If you don't mind just asking.
All right, Silas, I just got the phone right now. I'm gonna look up because I don't memorize the number, but I'll write it in the chat for her, and then let me. I know I used to have it up on the thing before, but I ended up taking it down. So let me find the number here.
She mentioned Happy Go Lucky mentioned her that Orange County didn't have like a lot of reentry resources. What was the most difficult thing about reentry that you didn't have access to that you think would have helped you and made your transition easier?
Okay, I got the number here. I'll put it up in the chat so you could call in. Hopefully, I got this set up correctly, and we'll see right now. All right, so there it is. That's the number. All right, let me make sure I got some volume on it, and it should ring this phone here. All right, so we're just waiting right now, and then you could go ahead and ask her right now when she calls in. Normally, I like to test this stuff out before I do go live, but obviously, just request it to go. You know what? So right now, I don't know if the request will go through because I'm using it on my computer. Oh, multi-request here. Let me check. I don't know if the sound will transfer over to Silas. Let me see. I've never done like a multi, so I'm not sure if it'll work. Yeah, so I'm using oh shit, hold on. So I'm using the computer software, the TikTok computer software on my computer, and I'm not sure if I bring you in, you'll be able to hear Silas, but I guess we'll find out right now when if you come on. Let me see here. So I'm trying to. I just accepted the invite, Silas, and let me know if you're able to hear her when she starts speaking.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear her, Silas?
Yeah, I can hear her.
Okay, all right.
Kind of low, but I can hear her.
Yeah, I can hear him too.
Oh, okay, perfect then. That even better.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you too. Happy Go Lucky. How are you doing this morning? Or afternoon, I should say.
Can you hear me? Let me see. I don't think I can hear
Yeah,
him.
he could. He said he could hear you.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can.
I don't
Have him
think.
talk. Have him talk
Yeah,
so
I
I can
can
see
hear
if I can hear him.
Talk, Silas. She wants to check if she could hear you.
Yeah, I can hear. I can hear her pretty good, actually. Can she hear me?
So he was talking right there.
Yeah, I could barely hear him.
Oh yeah, it's because the way I got like my setup and stuff, So because he's calling in to my computer, so I'm guessing maybe the sound's is not. Let me. You know what? I'm gonna raise the sound up a little bit for him. Talk, Silas, and let me, and like that she could tell me if she could hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I can. Like I said, I can hear her pretty good. I don't know if how her volume is with me, but I can hear her both of you pretty good, actually.
Okay. Yeah. So I raised the volume up a little bit. Were you able to hear him?
Yeah, I could hear him. I just have to stop breathing so heavy.
Hey,
Okay, so to answer
welcome, Happy
your
Go Lucky.
question, so yeah, I was in and out of jail. Then when I hit upstate,
her audio.
You know,
cut-
my
cut-
thing
her
was
audio cut out.
absconding. You know, I'm like the gingerbread man. You know, you have to come catch me if you can. You know.
Okay.
This call and your telephone
But
number will
when
be
like this,
monitored
when
and
I did
recorded.
my 8-year
I hear
term,
you.
it was like an eye opener because it took me away from my kids. You know.
Right.
But even though I
Right.
was
Wow.
gone from there, you know, I was able to raise my kids through there.
Okay.
And by the grace of God, they turned out to be good.
So you were gone for 8 years straight?
But besides that, yeah, Orange County has no nothing that much to offer unless it's education. Or like if you get dirty,
Wow.
they'll put you in rehab, and that's about it. When I paroled,
So what about like
to my mom's, and my
housing?
brother took her, and so I was homeless like 2 months after I got out.
Wow. So does
And
Orange
so like I
County have
kind of
like
ran
any
amok for a little
transitional
bit,
housing?
and then I said, you know what, I can't do this. I can't do this no more. And so I took myself to a shelter, and that's what got me where I'm at today. Um, I'm like working on like with myself. Like I go see mental health for this because I get bad anxiety. So yeah, that's what's helping me out. I got housing though. I got my housing. I got my own place.
So can you
But I can say
you-
that Homeboys Industry is one place to go.
Oh, really? Really? So what kind of
Yes,
resources
they
were
have a lot
offered
to
at
offer.
Homeboy Industries?
And they won't help you if you're not a felon. If you've never been to prison, they won't help you. I mean, they'll give you resources and
Wow,
stuff,
okay.
but they won't help you like they'll help us.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Well, wow.
So
For
yeah,
all the
you
viewers
got
from
you got a lot
Homeboy
of help in your
Industries.
hands when you get out here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, right now I'm a bachelor's student in San Diego State. I'm in the VSTA program, and I'm 2 semesters away from earning my bachelor's degree in journalism, communications, and art, graphic design. So when I parole, I'm
Is that right?
gonna enroll into UCLA in underground scholars and go for my master's degree. And my goal is to practice forensic psychology.
Right on. You'll get that.
I'll probably be
Trust me, you'll get it, because a lot of girls that I keep in contact with, they got all that in there, and they got good jobs in their hands right now.
yeah, and I mean that's the key right now. I mean, in here, like I got my undergraduate degree in psychology from Imperial Valley College, and I mean that's the key is soaking up these resources while you're in here and taking advantage of educational opportunities, rehabilitative opportunities, and even therapeutic opportunities. So when we transition out there, we can put our best foot forward, and I'm in here with a really good group of guys, and that's what we're doing.
If you come out with the same mindset and then just like put your mind to it, yeah, like you're gonna get where you want to be in life. You know, it was a struggle for me. So
You have
like I'm trying to
60
get
seconds remaining.
back on track and stuff, but I'm good though. You know, a little traumatized and stuff when it got to do with the cops, but I'm okay.
Yeah. So did you do your whole 8 years straight?
Yeah. Mind you,
Wow.
I was supposed to do like only like 7 and like 85% of my time, but I lost
Okay.
a good time fighting and all that good stuff. You know how that goes.
Wow.
And mind you, I didn't
It's
even
gonna
want to
hang
come
up. I'm
home to
gonna
tell
give a
you the
call
truth.
back.
Reality check was the one that I was afraid of.
All right. So the call was disconnected. He should be calling back shortly. And let me ask you right now, while we're waiting for him to call back. So how long have you been home now?
Going on 5 years.
5 years. Wow. And then
Yeah.
and then you also mentioned that you didn't want to come home. And what were some of the reasons that you didn't want to come home, if you don't mind sharing?
Because prior to my incarceration, I started doing good.
Hold on, I'm on.
I had my kids in my custody.
He's calling right
With
back.
Global Tel Link, you have a prepaid call
This call is
from
now being recorded.
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello, Silas.
All right, I'm back.
So
Yeah, I'm back.
right now, while we're waiting to reconnect, I had asked her, how long she had been home. She mentioned that she had been home for 5 years, and she had also mentioned that she didn't want to come home. She wasn't looking forward to come home. And I asked her what were the reasons that she didn't want to come home. So she was about to start sharing that with us right now.
Okay.
Okay, so I had worked hard for getting my kids back. I got all that back. I had my pad, I had my car, and I let my anger get the best of me. Mind you, I gave up one of my CDC numbers in January 2011, and I picked up another case in April. So I wasn't off pro for that long. Yeah, same year I picked up a whole other case.
And that was after you did the 8 years, or that was the
No, that was before. I had gave back a CDC number January, and that's how I got a new number in April. Like that's when I got a case.
And on your first case, how much time did you give the state?
On my first ever,
Yeah,
16 months.
16, and then you stayed off for a few months, and then caught a 8-year term.
No, and then I went absconded for a minute, and then I got 2 years, and then I got out. Then when they went abscond, like it was like a small time in between, and then I got pregnant with my twins, and then I started doing good, and then yeah. I let my anger get the best of me, and yeah. So I was pretty much it was verbal kidnap.
Wow. And let me ask you, so because
Two grown men, okay, two grown men.
oh man, so today's topic is can you raise your kids from from prison? What would you mind sharing some of your experiences?
Yes, you can.
Since you do have kids. How were you?
So like when on my let's talk about my 8-year term, because that was my stretch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have a good bond with my kids, and then they got we're close, and for them to get taken from me like that, I can say I did a good job just by being consistent, calling them every day, same time, and then I wouldn't tell them something and then not call. They understood. I gave them the rundown on how the system works. If I didn't call, it's because either we're locked down or something. And they always remember everything I tell them. And when they bring it up now, it's like, oh, they listen, And it's like they said, well, my daughter told me, if it wasn't for you, Mom, and your phone calls, I think we didn't even care. But it was my phone calls and the visits I had a friend that would take my kids to see me, and like, cause I was in Chino, I was close, so I would get to see them every other weekend. So yeah, you could. Anybody that could say that they can't raise their children from in there, yes, you can. It all depends on you. They want reassurance. They want to know that you're coming back, and just don't. My thing is, don't give them a date because things happen. That's where I messed up at for like my oldest.
This call
She was
and your
waiting for
telephone
me
number will be
to
monitored
graduate
and recorded.
high school, and she like put her graduation date back because she was like in those homeschools. So like she twice she waited for me twice, and I lost my time. Like that's when I lost my time, and so she just went ahead and went without me. That's the only thing I do regret. But sometimes you can't control over what happens, you know? You can, but you can't. If you understand what I'm saying.
So what?
But the girls' prison is nothing like the man's prison. Nothing. It's a walk in the park. It's like a big old slumber party. For real. Girls in there, they fight either for, okay, money. The main one is females and respect. That's about it. Oh, and people that don't take care of their hygiene, that's about it. But mainly females fighting over their girlfriends. That's it.
Wow.
It's like Vegas. Nobody ever sleeps. It's
Wow,
crazy.
that's crazy.
It's easy. So, yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, but
so you said
Yeah.
you said you had
That's my
a little bit of
adventures.
anxiety. So are you in therapy right now?
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I am.
You find that it's helping you?
I had to soul search and learn how to do what people skills, like learn how to talk to people. It's not what you
Right.
say, it's how you say it. Boy, because when they came at me with that verbal, I was like, what? Is there such a penal code? And sure enough, yeah. But because I have gang enhancements and all that good stuff, they got me with that. I mean, they were trying to get me for 36 for a minute, and I was like, yeah, no. I ended up representing myself at the end. I wrote the judge a letter, and because these other public pretenders weren't doing nothing for me, so I pretty much asked for
A lot of
the
people.
8 years because I got schooled on the bus, on the way to court. I was asking these guys, like, because guys are smart. They have that's mandatory knowledge. And so yeah, I got advice from somebody that was down to court, and I took his advice, and yeah, I got the 8 with the lecture, but I got it.
Wow. So
Time flew by. I'm
so
telling you
now
though,
that
time
you've been
flies.
out, so now that you've
Huh?
been out, now that you've been out for a little while,
How did I get help?
what are some of the things that you look at? So now that you're out, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to in the future, and some of the things that you're working towards for the future?
Okay, like right now, like my big thing, I want to work with youth. That's what caught my attention. Jaime caught my attention with that some life he had one day with
Javi.
Javi.
When we're talking about la puerta negra,
Yeah, the back pocket,
the back pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're trying to figure out a name, so I had to put my 2 cents in. So what I say? Oh, the secret of the dark hole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I'm still looking forward to that. I want to see what you got going on with that
I'm gonna have to.
because these youngsters do need to hear that.
Yeah, you know what? Because I remember that day. So some guys or some kids had said that they were in juvenile hall and that they had a cell
Oh
phone,
yeah.
and then that's how
Hmm.
like the whole topic came up and then we started coming up with the name of a book, and yeah, I remember you dropped that on there, and man, I remember that day, that night, or we were having a lot of good laughs that day, coming up
Yeah, we
with
did.
the name. Yep.
I like mine. Mine was better. Es que la puerta negra. Javi, have you talked to
So what was
Javi?
yours?
Yeah, I talked to him a few days ago. I'll check if I could bring him on sometime soon. I dropped some video visits
So
that I
okay.
did with him the other day. I'm not sure if you were able to check them out, but they dropped yesterday.
Oh, okay. Well, since we're on that topic of what I want to do, so yesterday down where I live, there's like a resource place. It's in a hood, but it's at a park. They switched up the whole park. It has skateboarding thing and everything. So I take my dog for a walk and I pay attention to everything. So this place is for kids to stay out of trouble. I don't see any of those kind of kids there. They're not catching their attention. So I took my happy butt over there yesterday and I asked them what kind of resources they had to offer. And so they're telling me. So the guy from the back that runs that stuff comes out and he's like, "Can I speak to you?" Just like that. I'm like, "Sure." I go, What your name is?" And he gave me his name, and I introduced myself, and I gave him some ideas for the place. You would think, I told him, like, if you guys want to keep some of these
This
kids around
call
here out
and
of
your
trouble,
telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
how about some, like, they have yoga. What youngsters are going to go to yoga class? I go, how about some kickboxing and stuff like that? And I go, I'll even come and volunteer and, share my story with them to see get something started going on for them because there's kids over here at the bench and yeah, you guys are not catching their attention. Some little girl was about to beat some boy up as she should for him being disrespectful, but to each his own. But yeah, that's why. And he said he took my name and my number, and he said he would call me because I have a lot of good ideas. And then I thought about Jaime. I thought about you and your whole little get down that you got going on. They need to hear it from people from the inside. You don't think so? I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you could talk about the secret of
absolutely.
that dark hole somehow. Slide it in there somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I
One of the
also
things.
like been looking into how going to visit and volunteer for the foster kids.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
that'd be
because
really cool.
I ran into a lot of youngsters out here. They're stuck on that stuff that is taking them out. Killing them. Dude, I ran into a 16-year-old at a bus stop. It was so sad. He was gone, and he's a foster runaway from the foster
Wow.
place. So it's like, man, if I can only change one life, that would make a difference.
Yeah, I'm from
So what do you
Pacoima
think?
in the San Fernando Valley, and one of the things that I went to actually serve time at Sylmore Juvenile Hall when I was younger, and one of the things that I want to do when I go home is to actually go back to Sylmore Juvenile Hall and go in there and and talk to kids in there, and I think it'll be from a relatability standpoint, I'll be able to connect with them, because not only because I've been to the end of the line, which is here in prison serving a life sentence, but I can also relate to them because I slept in those beds there. I did time there. And so
Yeah.
you can kind of reach people when you share their experience. If people know that you've been through what they've been through, they're more inclined to listen to what you have to say as opposed to somebody just saying, hey, stay in school and don't get in trouble. But they're square. They've never been a part of the life.
Yeah. So you know what? One thing that I did learn is all those kids, all they want is for someone to show them love. and reassurance. It's in a hug, dude. In a hug. I'm gonna tell you, in a hug.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
I am so like lovey to my kids that they say, "All right, mom, cool. I know you love me. Stop." I said, "Like, no, I don't care. You're gonna hug me because you're gonna hug me, you know." And so that's what makes a difference. My son's 21 and he's a chillon. He's a crybaby. So I'm sorry if I'm putting you on blast. However, I did something right. You know, he said my hugs made a difference to him.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So yeah,
And
I'm
like
trying.
you
I
said,
want to
that's
do the same
part of it that
thing.
makes a difference.
Oh, honey, you need a hug.
Hey, Silas, I know it's about to hang up. If you wanna go ahead and call back. All right. So you know how those calls go. They're only 15 minutes, so
Yeah.
he should be calling back. Um,
See,
so
that's one another thing about being in there. I came across those cell phones that they got going on in there, and it was cool until I got caught up with it. But still, it
and what
lasted me what 2 years.
so when you know, and that's a good topic. When you had a cell phone, what did you use your cell phone for?
Oh, talking to my kids. Talking to my kids.
This is
Checking
Wilbur Kelly. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
an incarcerated individual at the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California.
Yeah.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Link.
Hello, Silas.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah. So right now, while we were waiting for you to reconnect, I asked her because she mentioned that she had a cell phone while she was behind the walls. So I asked her what did she utilize that cell phone for?
Okay.
To contact my kids, check on my mom, and check on Green Dots. Rent it out for like $40 an hour, or just. But I had it for 2 years till they cut it.
Wow. That's
But it was
so.
like keeping in contact with my kids. It was, yeah, making the money.
So we were talking earlier. I'm not sure if you were listening. We were talking earlier about
He said, "I'm not sure if you were listening."
relationships. No, no. Well, earlier it was like earlier, talking about relationships with people. You know, us in here behind the wall having relationships with people in society, men and women having relationships with people out there, and so we were kind of talking about there was this guy. There's this guy. I guess he has a channel, and he's smutting people up in prison guys, talking about that all guys do is manipulate women in society and don't get in a relationship with a man in prison because he's talking to different women. He's gonna cheat on you, this, that, and the third. Like the dude is a dirty Mac, right? And so I
Hmm.
was just wondering what your perspective is on that, like your experience when you were down certain time, as far as like your perspective as far as women, in relationships with men in society, and your own experience with relationships with
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
So, let me tell you okay. So, like the men, because us women, we had action with like you want to call them what sugar daddies. I was never got that luck because I can't like tell somebody something that's not true. Um, but yeah, they would like use these guys, but but I see a lot that going on in the men's prison. I have a brother that's in Centinela, And every time I talk to him, he's like, he has a new girl all the time. Sorry, bro, if you're watching me, but I'm throwing you under the bus. So he says, like, hey, sis, fat girls need loving too. I go, you ain't right. I go, you need to stay out of those books, how to cupcake them and then, sell them drinks. That's not okay. That's what I see a lot, That's how a lot of guys do get taken care of. However, some guys in there have their wives and they're solid, They've been with their dudes for like years and they're good to them and everything. Me personally, I don't want a relationship when I'm busted because I'm toxic. I'm gonna call you every day if you don't answer. I'm tripping. Because I mean, the guys have needs. The guys are like something else. Is that the answers we're looking for or nah? Don't laugh, my boy. You got a couple of them under your belt. Just kidding. If your girl's watching or something, I was just kidding.
Say that one more time. Happy go lucky.
I just put him on blast. Sorry about that. I'm a jokester. I like to joke around a lot.
I mean, that's good. We need a lot of laughter. We need more laughter and positivity. There's too much negativity out there. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, for real.
You need it.
Man, like, it's ugly. In a man's prison, oh my god, I can't believe what you guys go through. My respects to the politics and that, but I don't agree with a lot of things they do. No, sir, but that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, yeah, a completely different topic. Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I just went left field with that one.
That's muy caliente for you have a collect call from.
All right.
You simple.
But I like this right here because I've always wondered, like, why? What made them want to go?
Yeah. And when you say what made them want to go is you're referring to crossing over, right?
Yes, sir. Because we all know that if you're on, you cannot even call nobody unless it's your mama.
Yeah, yeah. So Silas, I know like a few days ago we were on I think I was on a live with David, I believe, and she had asked like she was curious to know what's the reason somebody would choose to cross over from the main line over to non designated yard. So would you mind sharing some of that some of the thought process that went into that when you made that decision or choice to walk away and cross over.
Yeah, definitely. For me, I was a gang member since I was 15. I did time in camp, like 7.5 months in camp, and like I said, I got out and committed, a couple other offenses that violated probation. I was on the run from probation for like 5.5 years, and I committed the murder that I'm incarcerated for, and the robbery that I'm incarcerated for, and so for 20 years I was on the main line. I was politicking, I was gang banging, I was carrying weapons, using weapons, and participating in assaults, riots, the whole nine. I spent 7.5 years in the shoe for all the, for multiple violent acts, multiple stabbings. I'm still on single cell right now from a violent assault on my cell in 2009. So I've been like this for 15 years. And so I came down to Centinela from Kern Valley. And when I got down here, there was some stuff on the yard that needed to be handled. So like a dummy, I handled that. And the next day I got into it with one of my so-called homeboys, and we got into a fight. I got caught with a knife. I went and did a shoot here for that. Went to B Yard here in 2018, and I was there for 2 years. 2020, I actually went to CR during COVID. And I was over there and I was working in PIA. And at the time, I was in Imperial Valley College. And, I'm still, I was kind of staying out of the way. But, obviously I was still, involved and I was still a gang member. So if something came up, if my number came up, I was willing to do whatever. And just by being in college and just being educated, like I said, I have an undergraduate degree in psychology from Imperial Valley College. And just being educated and I just realized like the things that I was doing was just a part of groupthink. I was just following behind something that was laid down before me, and I wasn't really thinking for myself. I was sacrificing my freedom. I was sacrificing, my daughter's 25 now. I've been in here since she was a year and a half. I sacrificed raising my daughter. My dad passed away in 2015. My mom just passed away this past November. I sacrificed taking care of my parents during their older years, all of this stuff. And I wasn't getting anything from it. I was over there hustling and I was getting a little bit of money from that, but I came in here with 24 to life and youth served time. And, I came in 2002 into the CDCR and lifers weren't going home back then, so I came in here with the mentality of, I'm going to die in here. And so my whole purpose was to be, the most notorious blood that I could be, and for as long as I could. And then when it ended, it ended, but when things changed, when the laws changed and they brought about the youth offender and lifers started going home, and I was still participating in the same dumb stuff that I had been doing, I went to my consultation in 2018, and one of the deputy commissioners was, where to tell you, hey, these are the things that you have to do in order to earn parole. And he was just looking at my file, and he was like, hey, don't you want to get out of...
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
He, told me, hey, lifers are going home now. Like, you don't have to be here.
Yeah.
The only reason why you're here is, because you choose to be here. And so I took that, and I started doing programs. I started college. And so, like, in 2020, like, I was just, like I said, just staying out of the way. I was working in PIA where we were doing the boxers and making the boxers and
is that right?
making the smocks for pregnant women in women's prisons and doing the COVID masks. And so I came back one day, and a couple of my former homeboys was, they were at the table, and I walked up, and they said, what's up? I greeted them, and I just sat there while they were talking, and they were talking about the same old stuff, who out there, who got shot, who has money out there, who's not looking out for who's a bitch.
Same old, but a little
all
different.
the regular stuff. All the regular stuff, And while I was standing there listening to them talk, it just hit me all of a sudden, these aren't my people anymore. Like, I'd outgrown it. I'd outgrown these people and everything that they were doing, and this wasn't for me anymore, because my focus was on education, my focus was on going home, my focus was on, publishing my book. I published a poetry book since I've been in here, so
Is that right?
all of those things were what I was doing. Excuse me, say again?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How old were you when you decided, pretty much like when all this dawned on you? How old were you?
This was just like almost 4 years. This was 2020, November 2020.
How old were you then?
This was just, I was, right now?
Don't lie about your age, boy.
We were talking about, no, I'm 46. I'll be 47 in November. Like I'm damn near 50. You know what I mean? I'm 46. I'll be 47 in November.
So you were like in what year?
42, 43?
43, 42, 43. You know what I mean?
Yep, that's when it happens.
So, so I mean, and so I just decided, that I didn't want to be a part of it anymore. I just got put up for a level 3 to transfer to either Corcoran or Solano. And so, but with the program where they were sending me was non-designated. It was like a 50-50 yard. So being an active gang member, if I would have went to Solano or Corcoran and there would have been S&Y there, I would have had to get off on the S&Y in order to leave the yard. And I've been in the shoe or level 4 for the whole time I've been down, and my mission is to come home. So what sense would it make for me to go level 3 only to go there and to get off and commit violence on somebody because they're S&Y and blow up everything that I've been working for? So I just decided, like, you know, why would I go up there and do that? You know, and I was in school here, you know, I might, and my purpose is to leave all of this behind. And so, like, I went out for medical in the morning, and I went in, got my medication, because I get medication for my prostate. So I went up there and got that medication, and I went back into the building, and I didn't pack or anything. You know, I just been thinking about it. And so when I went back into the building, I told the floor officer, hey, I have to turn in my old medication, and so I'm going up there. And I decided, like, on the way back to the building, like, screw this, like, I'm out of here. And so I went back up there and told the officer, hey, man, I don't want to be here anymore. And he actually...
You have 60 seconds remaining.
And he thought I was joking. He was like, come on, Johnson, just go back to your building, man. I was like, no, I don't want to be on the yard anymore. And so he took me to the program office, and it was a hard decision, you know. And when I came over here, I suffered from, like, depression for, like, almost a year, and, you know, I felt like a deserter. I felt like I was abandoning all of them and leaving them behind, and, you know, because I made a commitment to them. But more important is the commitment to myself and my commitment to my freedom.
It messed with your ego, huh?
To being happy. Yeah. Oh yeah. It definitely did.
I feel you.
Leaving all of that.
I mean, like for you on your how you did it is like that's you get it takes a lot. You know, like me out here.
Yeah.
I don't want to go back to prison, you know, because I'm raising my grandbabies now. So it's like it's cool. I get that chance, and I don't go back. You know, I don't go to the neighborhood or nothing no more.
So he right now the call was cut off, and he should be calling us back shortly. So right now, do any of your kids live with you now, or if you don't mind sharing what's like the
like? Let me tell you, my kids are grown.
Okay.
But I still treat them like they're little. My son can't stand it because it's like I see them.
He's calling back.
Like when I first seen them, like when I first got busted.
This call is now being recorded. You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
An incarcerated individual at
the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
5.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Oh, sure, Spanish.
No, I said it. I said 5. That was me.
Yeah. That's why I was like, sure, Spanish.
All right, Silas.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right.
Yeah, but just to finish off, making the decision to leave all of that behind, it was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life, because I was so invested in all of that stuff, and for so long, like being a gang member, that was my identity. That was who I was, you know, and you know, I didn't know who I was outside of being a gang member, and it's scary to, you know, because I had to develop my own character and my own sense of self outside of all of that stuff, and so, and I've lost relationships with people, you know, with people over there, you know, and that I thought.
However, sorry to cut you off, but like when you lost all these other relationships, did you gain good ones?
Absolutely. You took the words.
That's all that matters.
Like, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, over there, you know, on the line is you know, the element is racist. Everything is race-based. Everything is gang-based. And coming over here, like, I'm on a podcast right now where I'm the only black. you know, and in my circle here, like all of my best friends are Mexican. You know what I mean? And you know, and it's because they're doing the same things that I'm doing. They're in college, they're taking self-help classes, they're lifers who are fighting to get home. You know, and it's sad to say,
Oh
but
shoot.
a lot of other people here, you know, they aren't doing the same things. And now my mentality is, you know, I don't care what race you are, you know, as long as you're good for me and you're doing the same thing that I'm doing, then I want you to be in my circle of friends. You know, I want, you know, and so like you said, you know, I lost people that I thought that were my friends, but people who ultimately, when I made the decision to leave, you know, the day that I left, you know, like, oh man, that dude's a buster, man. That dude ain't about nothing, man. You know, no matter all of the work I put in, all of the stuff I did over there, the day that I left, none of that mattered anymore. You know, and you know, those people, they don't, you know, no, not one person over there said, well, yeah, you know, he's done his time. He's, you know, he was a soldier. He did it, you know, and so he helped the cause, whatever the cause is, because no one knows what it is, you know, and you know, so yeah, you know, he let him go home. You know, he deserves an opportunity to go home. Nobody cares about that. The only thing that people care about is what they can use you for, you know, and so. And when they can't, you know, when they can't use you anymore, then, you know, then that's it, you know.
Yeah.
So I've gained a lot coming over here, but I will say, you know, it is hard, you know. It has been hard. Now for me, it's not just because my circumstances were different. You know, there are people who came over here because they were victimized over there. So they, you know, I chose to come over here. There are people over here who were forced over here.
Yeah.
So I think my perspective is a little different than somebody who may have got stabbed up on the yard, or somebody who, you know, got jumped on, or somebody, you know, there are people over here who could never go over there, period, who never even been over there because
Right.
of whether it be their charges or whatever. So my perspective is a little different because I just got tired of being over there and chose to come over here. I
Yeah.
didn't, you know, I didn't get ran over here. You know, like I told one of my buddies, he's on the podcast too, Jesse. I told him, you know, I didn't come over here because I was running from something. I came over here because I'm running to something.
That's right. That was, you know, like I've always like I wondered what pushed you to go to that side, because I've all I ever hear is like, you know, the war stories of why, and you know, so there's not just okay just because they're all bad. There's reasons for to do good, you know.
Yeah, yeah, there is. There is. And I can tell you this. I can tell you this, Happy Go Lucky. Being over here, minus my first year over here, because my first year over here, it was hard. You know, it was hard. You
I
know,
heard it's
I
worse
felt
over
like,
there.
damn, you know, shit, you know.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Can you say that again,
Is
Happy
that
Go
true?
Lucky?
It's worse over there.
It's, well, it depends on your
Crazier.
perspective, right? Like, I know there are some places, I can only speak for this yard because this is the only, like, SNY yard that I've ever been to. I've never, you know, I was, like I said, I was over there on the line for 20 years, so this is my only experience. I've heard about other yards where it's just like, just ape wild and there, you know, it's pretty much no rules and anything goes. I've heard about it, but the only thing I know is this. So it's, the thing that bothered me about coming over here initially was the fact that there are people over here, the people over here who couldn't be over there. You know, people who hurt women or hurt kids or hurt, you know, like
Yeah, I feel you on that. That was gonna be my next question for you.
right. That was my main thing about being over here that was really, really hard for me to get over, is being in an environment with people who victimize people like that. You know, like that's been my toughest obstacle to overcome here, you know. But
Buddy.
how I've learned to cope with it is that at the end of the day, I'm not anybody's judge, jury, or execution. And the only thing that I'm responsible for is myself and getting out of prison, my education, my art, and and doing the things that are going to allow me to be free. That's my only concern. Whatever somebody else's charge, whatever somebody else's thing, that's between them, the judge, the cops, and God. That's not my place. When I was on the line, I actually one of my assaults took place behind somebody that had a case on somebody that was underage. It was one of the reasons why I did a shoe turn. I've been on both sides of it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I went and did 5.5 years in court for shoe straight, and I mean, nobody sent me a thank you letter, a dime, or anything. Not that it would have made it better, because it was wrong what I did, period. But I'm just saying, like, I mean, everybody is looking out for number one. Everybody's looking out for themselves. And I realized that and realized, well, hey, you need to wake up and start looking out for yourself. You know what I mean? And not worry about who this person is, who that person is, and the most important thing for me.
Okay, was that a struggle for you, or
Yeah. Oh.
it just like clicked one day, or what?
No, it's been a process. It's definitely been a process. Like, it didn't just. It was me leading up to leaving the main line was a process. Me coming over here and just being able to be here, has been a process. And I'm good now because I have perspective, because I have my responsibilities, but it's definitely it's been an adjustment. It's been difficult. Like, I would be lying to you if I told you that coming over here, transitioning over here, and being here has been easy, because it hasn't. It's been rough. It's been a transition.
Oh, I bet. Well, I tip my hat to you for being strong and individual. Keep your head up, and wish you the best. And if you have any children, just stay consistent on calling them. Always tell them you love them.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, but I have to go, because I have to go to my appointment, and I came to drop off my daughter, and I'm still here
Okay.
at her
Hey,
job. So I'm sitting
All right.
outside of Marshall's. My daughter just came to peek her head out. She's looking at me like, "What are you doing?"
well, thank you. I appreciate you tuning in and call and agreeing to call in and sharing some of your journey.
Anytime. This hopefully, just next time I don't stutter as much and be nervous. I get stage fright.
Nah, you did great. And we appreciate you. We appreciate you calling in, and we definitely enjoyed chilling with you. So you did fantastic.
But I hope you guys invite me once again to your platform over here. It's cool. I'm as cool. He's cool. He's a cool cat.
Gracias.
A ti.
Hey, all right.
But another question for you, Jaime, before you go.
Yeah.
Have you made a spread?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay. So look, Trip. So I've never been to prison, but I did do some. I did hall times and I did county times. So yeah, I did. I always had my spoon ready when the homies would get the.
He said I always had my spoon.
I always had
ready.
my spoon. I had the spoon. I had two spoons, one in my front pocket, one in my back pocket. So like that, I wouldn't be left out. So whenever the spread was ready, vámonos, and I had my spoon ready. And you know what? Before that, I didn't used to mess around with certain foods, and chile was one of the things that I had to learn how to eat in county, because everybody eats it. So it was either I eat it or I was gonna go hungry that night.
Or else you got no flavor on your food.
Yep. Hey, if you see that county suit right behind me, that was my county suit. One of the last times that I hit county.
Oh, is that right? What you do? Dress over it?
Yep. Yeah, I brought it with me,
It.
brand new, never ever been worn. I couldn't leave that back there.
It's his trophy.
And now I got a purpose for it. Now it's up on my wall 20 years later.
Hey, you should have some girls call you from the state.
You know what? I would. You
Let
know?
me know if you're interested so I can let them know.
No. Hey, you got some? Yeah. You know what? I try to
I
make a
got a lot of
connection.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. But look, I'm looking for people that are looking to make a change. You know, I don't want like desmadrosas.
Absolutely.
But no, yeah, yeah. If you got some for sure,
I understand.
send them on through.
Absolutely, I will.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I'm gonna do a green screen of your little stickers that you sent me
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I could send
and
you.
put you out there.
I could send you the image too if you want. If you want the digital image,
That's cool. Yeah, yeah.
for sure.
So I'll be
feel
going on
free-
live
and
today
feel free-
representing you. Okay.
Appreciate it. Highly appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right, I gotta go now.
And feel free.
You guys have a good day. Keep your head up, my boy.
For sure.
All right, and you too.
All right.
You too.
All right. Bye. All right, Silas. So hey, that was definitely that was cool. You know, yeah, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting anybody to, with tune on.
Drop me.
I don't know. I'm trying. I've never done this before. Hold on. Give me a moment. Give
I
me
have, but it's not. It's not telling me to. It's telling. Oh, yeah.
hold on. I'm gonna hit disconnect out. Hopefully, it doesn't kick off.
Yeah, no,
this is
disconnect me.
Disconnect August from live. Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so there was a small like little delay, from I guess when you would speak, for her to hear you, there was a small delay. That's the thing with these
Okay.
yeah, because you're on the phone line, and then I'm patching it through TikTok. So, but that's cool. I didn't know that I could do it through the computer, because sometimes I run it through the computer, sometimes I run it through the phone, and today I'm doing it through the computer, and that's cool that I have that option of bringing somebody in, and everybody's able to hear each other. So that's cool. I might be doing that more often in the future.
Yeah, it was awesome to get a woman's perspective. That was really cool, especially somebody that's had an experience of being incarcerated. That was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, you know what? When I was thinking about, like a woman's perspective, I was thinking about, the women that are home, that are left, to raise their kids,
You have 60 seconds remaining.
while they're whether their husbands, boyfriends, or whatnot, are doing time. So that was cool that she was able to share her perspective from from the other side, from the women's side, that are formerly incarcerated.
Yeah, definitely, man. Like that's man. We need that kind of interactive experience. We need that diversity, because
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
it's not just men who serve time. You have women out there who serve time as well. So yeah, it's man, that we definitely need that perspective.
Yup. Hopefully, I'm hoping that everything crossed over. Her voice crossed over into the YouTube side too. Once the call concludes, then I'll go ahead and double check the YouTube side to see how everything crossed over. If it crossed over or not, then I gotta figure out what prevented that from happening. Anyhow, so right now Silas should be calling back. This is gonna be our last call, just because I've already been on for 2 hours and 9 minutes. Oh no, I'm pretty sure there's some stuff I gotta do around the house. I actually got another live coming up too, so I want to take a little break, and right now when Silas calls back, then we'll go ahead and here it is. We got the call, got the llamada.
This
call is now being
Global Tel Link.
recorded.
You have a prepaid call from
Silas Johnson.
An incarcerated individual at
the Centinela State Prison, Centinela, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now.
Cinco.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Hello.
All right.
Silas. All right. Hey, so you know what? We've been on for like 2 hours and 10 minutes so far. This is probably gonna be right now where we're gonna have to part ways, just because I gotta go ahead and do some stuff around the house, and I think I got another live coming up, in the next hour or so. So I want a little break so I could stretch my feet. I'm getting a bit restless over here.
All right. All right, man. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
So
Man, thanks.
yeah, I want to thank Silas and also Happy Go Lucky for coming in and sharing sharing their experiences and their thoughts on the topic for today. We didn't get to talk that much on it, but in the coming days, coming weeks, and whatnot, it's something that I definitely want to touch on, and I want to touch on different subjects. If you are listening to this, if you have any questions, always feel free to drop those comments in the chat. When it comes to anything that has to do with behind the bars, that's as long as it doesn't have to do with politics, that's something that I'm not, it's not on the table. But anything else, as far as like mental health, things that people are going through, behind the walls, or like Happy Go Lucky, she has some questions in regards to why would somebody cross over, questions like that, our guests are be more than willing to answer.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate your time, man. And, it's always a pleasure, man, and always learn something hanging out and talking with you.
Yeah, hey, likewise. I'm giving you the street experience, and
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
and you're giving me the prison experience.
That's right. That's right, man.
Yeah, Silas.
Right, man. So, man, until next time.
That's right, Silas. And like I said around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we are out.
Peace.
Peace.